All right, guys, it's time to expose the snake oil salesman that is Vivek Ramaswamy. So he, of course, is getting his moment in the sun after the debate. He's been on every show that's ever been created ever since then. So here he is. He goes on MSNBC. Now, I have so many feelings about this show because Andrea Mitchell, I'm sorry, you got to step aside. You got to retire. You're just not prepared for this. You just don't know what you're doing. It's embarrassing. What's going to happen here is embarrassing. You're going to have somebody who's witty, sharp, young, and quick on their feet, talking to somebody who's barely alive, and she's trying to press him on an issue, but she gets railroaded because she's not up for the task. So this is embarrassing, but let me play this for you. They're going to debate climate change. It does not go well for Andrea Mitchell. But then I'm going to come back and show you what could be done and what should be done and what should have been said in reaction to this absolute charlatan con man fraud. And I use those words very intentionally, and you'll see why in a minute. So here's their exchange, and then we'll react.
You've called climate change and that agenda a hoax. You said more people are dying from bad climate change policies than there are of actual climate change. But according to a UN agency, extreme weather events compounded by climate change caused the death of 2 million people between 1970 and 2021. Can you offer a shred of evidence that more than 2 million people died from converting to clean energy?
I can offer clear evidence that the number of climate disaster-related deaths is down by 98% over the last century. The number of people who died of hurricanes, tornadoes, heat waves, and other weather-related events in 1920, for every 100 that died then, 2 die today. And the reason why is more plentiful, abundant access to fossil fuels.
Just so you know, this is all like ExxonMobil talking points. This is junk science that you have. The fossil fuel industry pays these basically mercenary scientists for hire. The same people who said cigarettes don't cause cancer are now the same people who are saying, coming up with all these nonsense talking points around how actually maybe climate change is a good thing. He's regurgitating all of them.
I can also tell you today, it is a hard fact. None of these things are disputed. 8 times as many people die of cold temperatures than die of warm ones. The right answer to all temperature-related deaths is more plentiful, abundant access to fossil fuels. The Earth is covered by more green surface area today than it was half a century or a century ago because carbon dioxide is plant food. And carbon dioxide as a percentage of the atmosphere is still at a relative low through human history. Those are hard facts.
Literally all of these things are false. Every single one of those things is false. I'm going to give you some more information on it soon.
There's a hard fact of the hurricane that is now approaching. The mayor, a 3-generation St. Petersburg resident, says he's never seen anything like this, the ocean warming. But let me move on to some
Andrea, may I respectfully offer a response to that? And I mean this with due respect. If someone on the other side were an uneducated person from Arkansas who didn't go to college and offered one weather event as an N of 1 anecdote to help support a theory of global climate change, you'd laugh off the stage as a rube for saying they don't follow data. The same shoe has to fit the other foot. Follow the actual data.
I'm not talking about one person's opinion. We talked to professors, academics.
You literally just quoted one person's opinion, with due respect. That's exactly what you just quoted. And I think that that's what's driving this kind of false narrative as opposed to the facts that I'm citing.
Well, and Dr. Michael Mann, whom we interview often, and other professionals in this field.
That was embarrassing for Andrea Mitchell. First of all, everything Vivek said there is false. Everything. And she just, okay, please don't be mad at me, let's move on. Oh my God, Andrea Mitchell, for the love of God, retire. I don't know what you're doing. You're not helping anything. Oh my God, okay. So, what a surprise. This video drops on the exact same day we learned this about Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek, who claimed he could speak truthfully on climate change because he's not, quote, bought and paid for, has a $50 million plus stake in an investment firm dedicating to drilling as much fossil fuel as possible. The main fund is literally called Drill. So he has tremendous investments in fossil fuels. So he stands to personally profit a lot of money the more we use fossil fuels, and he's out there like, bro, I'm the only one who's not corrupt on this issue, so let me tell you why climate change is totally false. So in the piece here, they say, Ramaswamy has reported more than $50 million in holdings in Strive, which to date is mostly a fund to promote fossil fuel development. As Semaphore reports, the largest fund at Strive, called Drill, invests in U.S. energy companies and urges them to keep drilling for oil so long as it's profitable. Though Semaphore describes Drill's holdings as energy, the vast majority are fossil fuels. According to Strive's own description, 93.6% of Drill's investments are in oil, gas, and pipeline companies. These companies rank among the world's top climate polluters. So, in other words, he has a very personal reason to go with this line, go with this argument, lean into the idea that climate change is a hoax. Because he financially profits the more he does that. The more he convinces people, nothing wrong here, nothing to see, let's keep using fossil fuels forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, and there's no downside to this whatsoever. Does he really believe it? I don't know. I don't know which thing came first. It's a chicken or the egg thing. You're getting paid because of fossil fuels, and the fact that you're getting paid, you're rationalizing that you're doing the right thing, or did the climate science denial come first, and then you said, because I'm a climate science denier, I'm going to go ahead and, invest in these fossil fuels, because I think they're glorious and wonderful and saving lives everywhere. I don't know which came first. I don't really care. But the idea that he's clean and he's not impacted by money like these other politicians, nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. He's an establishment hack. He's also a fraud and a con artist. Like I said, he's wrong about everything he said there regarding climate change. So what's his reaction to this? It's a chart going all the way back to 1880, global average temperature. I don't know, man. That looks to me like it's going up and going up quite a bit. Now, did he mention this? Did he say anything about this? Did he give this fact? All right, well, what about this one? This chart here is about wildfires. What you can see here is wildfires they've become more common and they are more powerful when we get them. And so this says acres burned without climate change. This is what the wildfire trajectory would have been without climate change. This is the additional acres burned as a direct result of climate change. We've nearly doubled the amount of wildfires as a result of climate change. Doubled the amount of acreage burned from wildfires. Did he bring up that fact? I didn't hear him. I missed it. I must have missed it. I know I'm the data guy, I'm the fact guy. Did you bring up this fact? Or are you actively trying to bury every single fact that goes against your shitty, dumbass narrative? Okay, more. This we discussed a couple weeks ago on the show, actually. A crucial system of ocean currents is heading for a collapse that would affect every person on the planet. So, what they're talking about here is the Atlantic Ocean current. As a result of climate change, there are some scientists who are saying, we're already getting evidence and signs that this current is going to collapse. Now, if that current collapses, what happens in the UK is in that area, they basically plunge into like an ice age there. So I bring you that to point out, he fudges facts and numbers and data, and just to bolster his own argument, when climate change believing scientists are the ones who looked into this and found, yeah, it might be the case that the UK, when this ocean climate collapses, which is very likely to happen, they're going to be more cold in that area in particular. Because there's a reason why we stopped calling it global warming and changed it to climate change. Because climate change is more accurate. It is true that the global average temperatures are going up, but that leads to extremes in both directions. It's like you have a malfunctioning economy. As a direct result of the pattern going up, the global temperatures going up, you have, more drought, more famine, more wildfires, more storms. And then not only are there more storms, they are more powerful when we get them. Just more extremes in every direction. It's like the climate is going haywire. Now, he would point this out and use it as evidence to see, climate change isn't happening. They're saying that the UK is going to plunge into an ice age. No, it is as a direct result of climate change that they're saying this might happen because the ocean current's going to collapse as a result of it. Okay, look at this. Extreme heat could make parts of Asia and Africa uninhabitable in decades. By the way, also parts of the Middle East. A lot of experts say that by 2100, people just simply won't be able to live there because it's too hot. And you know what that leads to? A giant migration crisis. You know what else we're going to be facing? Wars over water. So we have this dystopian hellscape of a future, and he's still out here denying climate change. And he's doing it while also making millions and millions of dollars off of fossil fuels while pretending he's just spitting the facts and being empirically correct and just giving everybody data, bro. No, you're not, Vivek. No, you're not. No, you're not. And so it really is a shame that Andrea Mitchell sucks at her job and screwed everything up there. But Vivek's a liar, and he's a con artist, and he's wrong about every single thing he said. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.